And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Shadow Empire, in Fontus, Aliens, Mayhem. We're on rounds 327 plus, so we're basically at the end of round 327 here. We're basically at the beginning of a stream here. So as I normally do at the beginning of the stream, we're starting at the end of a turn instead of the turn. This is the ongoing construction. There were a couple delays. Nothing super concerning. Mining overview. We got nothing pending on running out. And a lot of the things that are actually most likely to run out soon are irreplaceable. They go away when they go away. Anyway, we worked out, I think at the end of last stream, that there's, in theory, enough unclaimed victory score for us to win without fighting a war, but that mostly involved taking over lots of little islands. It's probably mostly planet percent, not population percent that's missing. Yeah, at the moment we are waging a war with good old Becker here. And on this continent, where we've actually been fighting them, we've got them down to one remaining city. And more importantly, for the ongoing war effort, their port, the one and only port they have left on the continent, is on the battlefront. So if we overrun the port, they won't have their complete supply situation collapse, because presumably they'll just put in a temporary SHQ in the city. They may already have one in the city. Yes, they have the 22nd SHQ here, to give you an idea of how many SHQs the AI has been through. Which would probably provide food to their troops, but they may very rapidly run out of ammo under intensive advance. From a replenishment standpoint, a good thing I'm checking before we cycle the turn. Apparently I did not do replenishment before I saved last time, so we'll go ahead and recruit our replenishment up. But yeah, so this may be this probably is actually the stream. We go ahead and finish this run up, although it comes down to how the enemy resists. And if there's enough on this continent here to finish them off. Yes, 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 yes. Oop, don't forget the buggy. Not the tiger, the buggy. Yeah, I think that's all the stuff we need. We could probably do a little bit more money, so let's see if we've got a efficiency drive, and we do.
Roger that.
Max over 10k. Quick once over on the economic councils. Work on mass food pool, which should help the food situation. Military research. We're about to finish up robotic soldier, so it may be worth trying to build up our capacities to build high-tech parts so we can start deploying robotic soldiers en masse. That also, in theory, could allow me to start getting rid of a bunch of the militia, because the robotic soldiers will definitely be better than the militia at this point. Energy gun optimization, aircraft readiness. Okay. Yeah, let's go ahead and cycle the turn. Yeah, we could technically attack the port this turn, but I think we only just pushed into the hex next to it. Well, during this turn, I think we just pushed into the hex next to it. So let's go ahead and cycle that turn. And we'll see what Becker and the other AIs are up to. And then we'll begin to push our assault, which I think is still going to trend forward. We're basically in the final couple turns. Well, say a couple turns. It could be quite a few turns. It depends on how much victory score the remainder of the continent is. I think the continent is soon. What remains of their toehold on that continent is soon to fall. At which point, if we need to conquer more, and this is why the run may not be done tonight, if we need to conquer more, we'll have to figure out a way to do a naval invasion against a foe that is not short on military. They may be short on getting it off of their capital continent. They've got a lot of people in their capital. That's probably the case for most of them. Most of the factions probably have lots of people in uniform. But at this point, we've got the majority of the population. We have a plurality of the land, so it's pretty inevitable that we're probably going to win. But we're going through the motions to actually carry the victory, let's say. Okay, so it looks like the enemy didn't attack us. Although they are holding their ground. Should be coming around to us shortly. Here we are, round 328. We have 14 decisions. Dome Breach, Ancient Weapons Triggered, Deadly Alien Pathogen. So 3 of those are danger events. That is something that if I spend the time, I should go around and resolve. As I should go build up the culture in a bunch of territories and make us more resistant to the danger events.
Yes, sir. We'll go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, ammo completation.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll do that next. And obviously we want to design ourselves some robotic soldiers. Oh, we haven't discovered them yet. Let's do no new order so we discover the robotic soldiers real fast.
Acknowledged. Confirming orders. Understood. Copy that.
We've researched
we'll go.
the underlying tech, but we have not yet discovered the model.
Yes, sir. We'll go.
Affirmative. Copy that.
Yes, we have one really big city. 48.6. I don't think we really gained much. We maybe gained a little bit of population, but it wasn't enough to make a big swing on the victory score. Work apartments, truck stations done. I think we're going to continue to build up the truck station. Go up to truck station 3.
Acknowledged. Confirming orders.
And then dump enough workers here. Try to keep it working without delay. That may work. And then we probably want to continue building up the worker apartments as well. Ideally, we want this place to be gaining happiness every turn, so we can interact with the slave trader frequently. That's one way for us to get more population. Okay, so we've maxed out the one of the types of housing. Yeah, social housing's maxed. Let's move on and continue expanding the worker apartments. We're working on demilitarization here. We're actually a little low on power. Yeah, we're a little low on power. Although we're working on urbanization, so that's a power source. That's fair. Okay, so only the hydroponic factory looks to be delayed, which is a little annoying, but it'll be fine. We can work with that. So with that, we're back on the offensive once again. We are showing some supply issues. And it is the last mile deliveries that are suffering. So it's specifically our troops here at the front that are having the issues. We have enough coming in by rail, but not enough coming in by the road once the rail runs out. Which actually kind of makes sense. That's kind of what you would expect terrain-wise. Let's push the artillery towards the road to the city. Do I just do a head-on assault on the port? Yeah, that looks plausible. And we can split these 2 brigades up to cover the road as well. Okay, I see what we're gonna do. Air recon 2. So we can try to split their forces into 2. They'll still technically have a connection around the rear, but that'll screw up their reorganization. We'll do recon here.
Birds are in the sky.
Oop. Effective AA, and we lost one of the recon. Technically, I've got them designed as tactical bombers, but we're using them like they're recon. Realized I missed the AT guns in the last one. Okay, let's initiate our attack here. Taking this location should yield the port, which isn't super useful for us, other than the fact that it is denial to the enemy.
Fire!
Okay, successful assault.
Mission accomplished.
There we go. Supply line secured. We control the port, which in theory denies them port access. I believe we're attacking... Yeah, we're attacking Savannah there. So we'll go up to the stack limit basically here and then start attacking. This may be an attack that we don't succeed on, just because of how many guys they have stacked here.
Going in. Mission successful.
Okay. We didn't manage to drive them from the tile. Okay. So we split them up, so either they have to take the long way around the lake, or they to reorganize between the 2 fronts here. Not necessarily a big deal, I think, to the enemy. I think the bigger deal is that we've taken their supply line via the port. Send up our reinforcements here. So units receive replacements over the end turn, assuming the supply logistics situation holds. Okay. Once again, we are running a pretty hefty deficit, so we're going to have to run the efficiency drive.
Roger that.
Actually, stack a little bit more up because the deficit's pretty big. In the long run, that is something I should probably take the time to solve. But it being something we should solve and it being something that is solved is 2 different problems. The long-term solution to that is reduce the over-leveraging of a bunch of our towns. Like, the capital just has too many government workers, so we're driving up the wages there. In this case, we've specifically gone out of our way to make sure we have government housing to generate happiness, because right now we're not generating anything from the wages in the capital, for example. We can basically do the same sort of thing everywhere else. Combination of build up the quality of life and build up the government housing. Can allow us to either turn wages down, or be less reliant on using it for happiness buff. Okay, let's go ahead. Construction is moving. Mining doesn't need to check. Oh, the one thing I should check before I forget is what's the turns on maritime trading contracts. And pretty sure...
Yes,
okay, so we're going to spend a bunch of money on maritime trading contracts.
Yes, sir. 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 Yes, sir.
There we go. And we're trying to build up the effectiveness of ports so we actually get full shipping via all our shipping lines. All of that eats a bunch of metal, which we don't necessarily have a lot to spare at the moment. So let's cycle the turn. Let's see how this progresses. With the port taken, they're going to have... although it's going to take a couple turns for it to really kick in, they're going to start having supply issues. Because I doubt this city has enough assets, capacity, whatever you want to describe it as, to supply this army. Probably has enough to feed it. Probably not enough to supply replacements, probably not enough to supply the ammo consumption. So as we fight the enemy, they should run out of bullets and then run out of readiness. There is Nibble, this is Totalin. If we're randomly going to pick, or if we get forced to pick someone to do a naval landing on, Totalin's probably the one we target. They should be reasonably within our strike capacity range for aircraft. Becker is actually at the upper limit of, well, with Plasma Jet, they're now well within our limit, but we're going to be using most of our... would have to be forced to use mostly 33X range aircraft. Oh yeah, we can see that they're recognizing they have a supply issue. They attacked, we held. I think we inflicted over 6,000 casualties in that one defense, showing you the raw resistance that is heavy battle dress. The brigade putting out enough firepower to hold off more than a brigade in casualties. And probably got away with fairly few of its own. Adams Range Imperium, round 329. We killed 6,500 infantry at the cost of 200 infantry, 80 guns, 60 motorized, 10 tanks. We have 7 decisions awaiting us. So 60 motorized suggests that they got deep enough to actually hit the trucks. So we probably almost lost the AT, or not the AT, the artillery unit there. Artillery unit got hit hard. Infantry handled very well, but the old artillery did not appreciate such a determined attack. And we've discovered the robotic infantry.
Copy that. Copy that.
So obviously we're going to go ahead and develop some robotic infantry. To keep it simple, at least this first batch of robotic infantry is going to be using energy weapons. So we're going to equip them laser rifles. I'm going to equip them heavy battle press. And it's keeping them simple because robotic infantry simply use energy to feed themselves. So I have to provide them with energy anyway so we can keep the logistics very simple on them. Getting some of the demands. Do what you can to mitigate the dome breach. There's a monster. I'd send you monster hunting. But I don't trust the... It's only 34% chance of failure. Can I... Personal combat is, I think, strength. Can I buff your strength? That's willpower, that's not what we're looking for. You're just XP gain. That would have been useful earlier, but it's a bit late for that. Int... Oh, personal combat, yeah. That'll work.
Yes, sir.
There we go. Lead a hunting party to kill the bloody monster. On a personal combat roll of 84 versus difficulty 50, we managed to kill the beast after a ferocious battle. Made an impression, earned myself the title Monster Hunter.
Yes, sir.
And then victory score, it hasn't moved much, because we haven't really taken anything. We've taken a hex, basically. Construction, everything roughly went at speed, except for the truck station in Freedom. Let's go evaluate the truck station in Freedom. Worker requirement, oh, because we took the port. The Fafin port. And apparently the wages then. Okay. Zone orders. Pay the workers. Pay the workers hard. Send them more workers. And even that's not going to be enough to get the port to work, or to cover the worker deficit for the month. For the moment, mothball that port. You don't got the workers. I'd rather get that truck station done. Okay, and the pursuit of the enemy forces continues. Because apparently they'd be running from us. Okay, I'm gonna run a quick air recon. So our guys know what they're getting themselves into.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot.
So yeah, let's attack from three sides, drive these guys back out of this bit of swamp, shorten our front line. We are still struggling with supply issues. So, we're not doing particularly well, although at this point we think we can inflict supply issues on the enemy simply by attacking them, so...
Going in.
Enemy units surrendering on the attack. That's not a good sign for the enemy. 35 subunits lost, some of which we know are just capitulating. They're just giving up. And yeah, what you can see one of our artillery units got absolutely wrecked. 8 missing artillery subunits. And what, it was six missing transport. It looks like 5 because we still technically have a militia one in the SHQ. But yeah, they came hard enough and fast enough to actually penetrate into the rear echelons and hit the artillery, which is unusual in a successful defense. Although that does show you just how resistant the battle dress is to enemy attacks. That the infantry were basically able to hold at such overwhelming numbers that the artillery was not safe. Yeah, I think we stand a good potential to continue the attack here. We'll see if they attack us again over the end turn. Or if that was them spending what little offensive capacity they had left.
Roger that. Roger that.
But yeah, we haven't really gained any score. The big prize, I think, in the near future fighting is actually the take of the city. Because I still technically have 100,000 people in the city. It's probably going to be worth more than any other hex down here in this area. You're running a metal deficit, a petrol deficit, so I should resist just adding more to the build queue. I think we got enough in the build queue, we let the build queue do its thing, and reevaluate when things finish. Okay, seeing Becker's movements. We're actually seeing them pull back, which is interesting. Although it's basically just a rearrangement mostly here. See if they attack. If they attack, they'll probably attack near the end of the rearrangement. Oh, looks like they didn't attack. Probably means they've come to the conclusion that they've spent their offensive capacity and didn't find purchase in their do-or-die attack to take the port back. Here we go, round 330, we have 2 decisions. Abductions being one of them. Ooh, discovered lightweight ammo. Give into something demands.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
gotta get
sir.
the abductions as
Roger
you
that,
can.
sir.
Oh dear. That's a lot of people. 26,000 people just going poof. Oh, and we only missed by 1 on the failure. Terrible. Yeah, that wasn't particularly great. Worker apartments is complete. I think that is all the worker apartments we can build in the capital. Oh, have to be on them. Next, let's see the government buildings. Yeah, work apartments are done, social housing is done, bureaucratic office is done. Oh, well, I say done. They could technically be upgraded again if the city expanded one more level. It's done as far as now is concerned. We got full qual in the capital. So not really anything else to do in the capital. And that was the capital that got hit, which is... oof. This one, we finished the demilitarization facility. We probably want to continue building the demilitarization facility if we can. We can there. It can go up to 4. Okay, running deficit. We'll actually see if how the deficit changes with the worker apartments in the capital we complete, because we're not going to add that to the queue. And yeah, there wasn't any real fighting over that in turn. You're up to 48.8. So it was a 0.2 rise on that last turn. Not exactly sure why we had that rounding, but we had that rounding. Let's continue our offensive. So air recon, obviously here.
Birds are in the sky.
The AA coming off the machine guns
Whiskey
proving
Tango
effective.
Foxtrot.
Lost one of our recon vehicles.
Birds are in the sky. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Birds are in the sky.
So you're marshy grass. You're marshy grass. Okay, so probably the vehicles here, the tanks, and the AT to a certain degree, want to go running around to that front. Okay, let's start the attack here. We are suffering from supply issues, although we think they will be soon as well.
Engage the enemy.
Lost 4 subunits, destroyed 9, taking the Hex, driving the back. And we should seal the road coming up to this front. That may help with the supply situation. .2 to 1, so we should be pretty successful here, although we're unlikely to get away with no casualties. Lost 3 subunits, 4 subunits.
Mission successful.
To 14. The combat odds here aren't particularly great, although there's a lot of forces here. We're probably not getting adequate predictions based off of their supply situation and readiness, so we're going to carry the attack anyway,
Move out.
and maybe regret it if it goes terribly.
Negative
Lost
3.
22 subunits to 21 subunits. So we're sort of trading attrition here. I think as a nation, that's something we can probably do better than them. Although it was not a particularly successful attack. Okay, that's our reinforcements prepped for delivery. Yeah, 48.8 still, although this isn't updated, so we'll see at the beginning of next turn where it is. I could imagine us falling a little bit because of the population loss from the decision. Everything proceeded at speed except for the truck station.
Acknowledged. Confirming orders.
Okay. Head on fork is there, then we can operate the recently acquired port in a partial degree. That's fine. Anyway, we just finished up or just started the robotic design, or the design for the robotic infantry. I think that's still definitely going to be worth deploying. I don't have enough construction available right now to want to build up our high-tech. Well, that's definitely something we want to do in the near future. So we can more aggressively deploy robot soldiers. I'd like to, over time, replace all the militia forces and basically free up the professional forces and replace the militia forces. We can disband the militia forces for population.
Standing by. I'm on it.
By 2,000 people here. And then the other slave trader is here. I'd like you to be happier. But yeah, this is the other
Standing
one.
by.
So this is another place we're going to want to build up socialized housing. Get the zone really happy so that we can constantly import slaves. For freeing them, after all. 60.1% of the world population, 37.4% of the planet before the attack here, although we still haven't taken the city. We slow grinding offensive until we take the city, basically. Our reconnaissance is starting to reach the depth where we're able to see HQs, so they're definitely having struggle trying to keep them away from the front at this point. Okay, we're on Becker. We're seeing troop movement. That was about it. So pretty quiet turn. Okay, Adams Range Imperium, round 331. We suffered no losses nor made any kills. We have 7 decisions. Quack Doctors being one of them. Mass food pool is complete. So we should see food much more available. Power is a little bit negative at the moment.
Sir, yes, sir.
I think the answer here is either synthetic fuel or radiation cleansing. Radiation cleansing going to help me get into any of the later attacks. Yes, it'll help me get into fusion atomics early orbital, so we do radiation cleansing.
Copy that. Wilco. Copy that.
Roger.
Trying to bomb
Yes,
some beers.
sir. Roger that, sir.
Successfully bombed some beers.
Yes, sir.
Build commerce one there. Construction-wise, everything went at speed except for the turbinization plant over on the other continent. We did finish the one in the capital, so while we're power negative this turn, we may not be on the next turn. Continue to expand the urbanization plant, because we've got metal to build it, workers to work it, and we got plenty of water. So this is probably the best source
Yes,
of
sir.
power
Roger
short
that,
of nuclear for us. And then mining, we're not expecting anything to be out. No. Victory overview, 48.7. So it did go down a little bit, but probably because we lost the population on that last turn. That was a big chunk to go missing. Bottleneck, we're still bottlenecked outbound on the city. I'm thinking I should clean up some of the roads here. So let's clean up those. We don't have any more circles going on. And then let's slam out a rail connection out to the front. I'm not going to build an asset on it, but the having a rail line between 2 points gets you 10% of the rail points, which is better than 0, right? We get 100% if we put a rail asset down here. I'd rather, if we can, push that last hex, get into the city, and put the railhead on the city. And we got like 9% resupply. Okay, I think we need to hold off. Oh, and you literally got nothing. Oh. Yeah, no. Yeah, no attacks this turn. Too many casualties, or too many supply issues over the end turn here. I'm gonna stop and wait for the supplies to sort themselves. Or I'm gonna be kicking myself. In theory, the supply situation is also being bad to them. Although they're probably still receiving their food, at least. Although they may have... It's hard to tell where everything is in the city. They may have put up an emergency port or something to do shipping.
Acknowledged. Confirming orders.
Okay, let's get that part all the way online. Although it doesn't necessarily provide very much for me other than jobs. But yeah, that should be enough to get the city. Well, that should be enough to protect the port, keep it from being destroyed. The city should be able to hire up properly from there. Nation.
Roger that.
Buff some money out of thin air using the magic that is
Roger
efficiency
that.
drive. And then we cycle the turn. Okay, Becker's doing some rearrangement. Their main strong point, obviously, is the city. They attacked us, we held. Although it didn't look like... Well, we had a lot of vehicles in that fight, right? We replaced the pure foot brigade with the mechanized one. The mechanized units are... specifically the APCs have not necessarily been having the greatest success. They're presumably getting better, if by nothing else by attrition of the ineffective subcomponents. Over the intern, we killed 4,600 infantry at the cost of 100 infantry, 100 guns, so that's an entire battalion of artillery destroyed, probably. One motorized. 6 decisions await us. So it was definitely a determined attack that managed to get through to the artillery. Although, they maybe weren't. They're probably trying to take the hex, not just get to artillery.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Understood.
Sir, yes, sir.
Freedom is now level 4. Construction, serpentization plant done. Worker apartments done. I don't think we can build up the worker departments. Could build up the bureaucracy, that's not what we're looking for. City also has maximum civilization for the moment, so that's fine. Port is done. We're going to lease that cycle for a turn and see how that affects the shipping. We're not power positive, but I don't necessarily want to be building power on the other continent. Okay, so you were shorted power for probably delivery issue reasons, right? Because it's not free to ship power over the ocean. Yeah, for whatever reason, it probably tried to ship via that line that's full. And, yep, last mile delivery is saturated. Okay. Either the power requirements just spiked here. Could potentially be the power requirements just spiked. We'll be getting more next turn with the serpentization being done. Oh, you also have a worker shortage. Let's throw workers at the problem.
Roger.
Okay, that should solve that problem. It's basically solved there. Okay. And yeah, by not advancing that turn, our supply situation is improved, although not enough. We may be stationary again for another turn here. Deep core gas will be done next turn. That'll help with the petrol. Everything else proceeds at speed. Nothing concerning there. Victory score, we're back up to 48.8. Not done with that yet. Make pretty good timing with the ammo compactation. Okay. Let's see. Can I get the Calder Rebellion in? Yeah. Let's covert ops and Calder Rebellion.
Yes, sir.
So Calder Rebellion 3 on their capital.
Yes, sir.
That's a little worrisome. That implies there's not very many people left in their capital. Yeah, that city's collapsed in population recently. Okay. Maybe not surprising with how badly things have been going for them. But yeah, Becker used to be number 2. That used to be like a couple 100,000 large city, and it's now less than 100,000. Should we see what Becker does? It looks like Becker pretty much didn't do anything. Our units grow stronger as we hold position, and more of their ammunition arrives. Here we are, round 333. We have 5 decisions. Ancient weapon triggered. Didn't get the enforcement up high enough. Completed ammo compactation. So this will definitely help with the logistics if we redesign the units.
Yes, sir. Roger that.
Order received.
Leaning towards the light ammo here. Yeah, I'm leaning towards light ammo here. Again, if we do another unit redesign, light ammo means the units will carry more ammo. Must be a little bit less penalized. They're doing heavy fighting, and the ammunition's not arriving. Oh, that goes hand in hand with resonance scanners. Probably do resonance scanners into light ammo. Not super enthused about liquid armor. It's just going to make your units more heavy for deployment situations. Same thing. Extreme vehicles. Beam weapons are pretty large tank guns, so we're probably not going to use that. Could technically do the micro nuke. Really, we'd be trying to find more of the hyper and actinide. So yeah, let's do resonance scanner into lightweight.
Yes, sir.
Roger that.
Critical failure, lost a bunch of people. Of course we did. Supply situation is improving. We're up to just short of 50% on some of these units near the front. But yeah, we're still bottlenecking up on the delivery here. Deep core gas extractor finished. Okay. We're going to want to continue that expansion.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
We are full on food, so let's expand our food silo.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
We're not full in petrol, though we're not far off from being full in petrol. Did I have a petrol expansion to do, or I'm capped on that? We're capped on that. The other one's power, and we're pretty far away from filling up the power, yeah. Yeah, I think we'd still be benefiting from more food and fuel storage. So here we're going to do more food. And more fuel. And we sold 6.6 thousand. Okay. So I think we can also go ahead and expand the biofuel.
Yes, sir. Roger that, sir.
Part of the massive food income is we just finished mass food pool. So we're getting, and I think this is what I think I've learned recently. Those techs don't affect the dome farms, but they do affect the hydroponics food factories. So our hydroponic food factories, which we have a couple, are now really outputting the food. So we're kicking 2,500 food up to 10,000. So yeah, we got food to turn into petrol. So we continue advancing. And we already got the truck station here up to level 3. Yeah, we got the truck station here up to level 3. We'll take a look at the traffic science, but I don't think we got a good... It's not going to make sense to upgrade the truck station more. We have a railhead here. There's maybe an argument for shoving a railhead right at the front. Let's do that. I was going to push into the city, but we need more logistics to do that. So I'm going to see the railhead gets us that little bit of logistics. Oh, Notodox is providing militia at this point. That's actually good to see.
Roger that. Roger that.
That actually means I can probably free up the brigade we have there to send forward. Nation, efficiency drive.
Roger that.
Get me better roll on that, please.
Roger that.
That's better. Then we cycle the turn, and we see how the situation evolves. Our supply situation should be hopefully improving. Just double checking to make sure we're not shipping water. Yeah, our supply situation should be improving. Theirs should not be. Although I suppose their city here could be improving. Yeah, we'll probably try to attack next turn if the supplies continue to flow as they do. Because getting half of what they needed on the last turn would equate to they getting basically what they need this turn. So if that does end up being the case, we should be in a position to attack come the next turn. And we're not far from taking the last little portion of logistics they should have in the pocket. If we can take the city, I suspect the logistical situation will completely fall apart for them, and it should then be a march to the sea. So, should soon be seeing what Becker is doing, although they may not be doing very much. And looking at the time, this is where we're going to go ahead and, this end turn here is going to be the last part of this part. So if you're watching on YouTube, there will probably be a part up tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I can take a short break to get up, stretch the legs, sip some tea between the two parts here. After we see what the enemy does, and it looks like pretty much nothing. Again, Becker, I don't think Becker has enough ammo in the pocket here. We've cut them off of their port logistics. So unless they set up a maritime emergency port in the rear, they probably don't have adequate supplies. Although it is a zone, they have a SHQ, emergency SHQ in that zone, so they likely have local food stuff being supplied by the town. So they're not going to starve, but they can run out of bullets. And that may be what we try to do to them over the next couple turns, is force them to use up their precious remaining bullets. Okay. The next part will be round 334. If you're watching on YouTube, that will be tomorrow. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'll be back in a short moment. So until then, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.